We're always turning corners. There are always corners to turn. Corners are turning all around us. Corners at every turn. Corners at every turn.
Another interesting but challenging project I got involved with was the Journal of Sports Therapy. The JST ran from 2008 to 2015. Over these years, just 11 issues were published. The journal was hosted by University College Birmingham and for a period joint hosted by Coventry University. There were several different editorial boards during its time of existence and several different issue editors. For some reason, I was asked. I took over as managing editor in 2012. I helped to launch a bespoke website, presented a full conference day in Birmingham, and I brought 3 further issues to publication. To publish an academic journal and to maintain a frequency of publication is a challenge for any organisation or individual group, especially when independent and without the backing of an academic publishing house. Eventually, due to the various full-time work commitments of those involved at the time, the JST became logistically unfeasible. Some attempts were made to try and continue to open it and for wider management, but it didn't happen. I believe there are current plans in the making for a completely new Journal of Sports Therapy, which would be fantastic. None of the JST's previously published issues were in circulation or available to view anywhere. So as I still had the full collection in PDF format, I made them available on my website. But they were pretty good in hardback as well. Another very enjoyable, proactive thing I got into was organising health walks in Birmingham city centre. It also linked to a module we were running called Exercise as Medicine. I also undertook scheme coordinator training with the Ramblers Walking for Health charity. Now it's called Ramblers Wellbeing Walks. It's all about helping people to be or become more safely and inclusively physically active in social settings. I think it's a great initiative. I've always felt that as a sports and exercise therapist, the delivery of health walks for the general public is a great way to help them understand a bit more about safe participation in exercise. I would emphasise how we can all aim to subtly notice the difference between our resting and exercising heart and respiratory rates, and our rating of perceived exertion. The talk test can be used too. I would get people to be mindful of how they feel during and after the walk, both physically and mentally. Even though pre-participation forms would be completed beforehand, I would always advise checking to see if anyone has any current health issues, injuries or concerns in the pre-walk group leaders chat. I would also encourage everyone to be working to achieve a walking pace that is tolerably exertive, but so that everyone can still talk. Everyone watches out for everyone else, and we each cross the road as individuals, not as a group. I believe that these walks, when prepared creatively, can take in a bit more of the large social history, geography, architecture and nature. For me, this additional attention to detail, I think, is likely to make people want to return. Such walks, even if they are provided by volunteers and attended for free, also provide a great opportunity to promote your own sports therapy practice and potentially develop useful links with the local NHS, the council and park services. Although I've always been a walker and a hiker, I found myself getting really into the walking for health concept. I started playing walking football and walking cricket, and also qualified as a Nordic walking instructor. That's been great. I'm a big fan of the method, and I use it with many of my clients. Doing this quite intensively, actively, and on a research level for a good period gave me new insights into what we can do with our clients, especially the older or less physically or socially confident population.
I must die for the land to be born again. But don't you cry and don't you grieve, for soon the wild hunt I will lead on the night of Samhain. I am lover, I am father, I am horned god and king. I'm the life in all of nature that is reborn every spring. Call of stag and cry of eagle. I am child of barleycorn, and I am the antlered crown and standing storm. The air is cold, the sky is grey. Where am I this winter's day? Bones of trees, fallen leaves, the time of the winter queen. But through the wind and snow and rain, know that a part of me remains. Holly stands evergreen. I am lover, I am father, I am horned god and king. I'm the life in all of nature that is.
Sometimes in my working role, there have been other little opportunities, such as writing a blog for the BJSM. This one was just championing the role and usefulness of sports therapists in professional sport, or being asked to present something for a conference. Not that that happened very often. In 2023 at the Spark, the Sports Performance and Rehabilitation Conference, I was quite unexpectedly given an award. I think for the first ever in my career, for my services to the sports and exercise therapy field. It was a nice feeling getting a bit of acknowledgement and something tangible back for the efforts I'd put in over the years, although I definitely regret not making a little speech in that moment. Hey ho. Hey ho is a bit of a useful personal catchphrase for me. I think technically it's an idiomatic expression that functions almost like a verbal shrug or shaking of the head to express some level of resignation or disappointment. It seems to helps me accept any less than ideal situation or outcome. My last big project while teaching at the university was to develop another academic handbook. I wasn't expecting or planning to have to do it. In fact, I was all lined up to do a doctorate in education. I'd been accepted onto a program at Sheffield Hallam University. But as the last book had done well, the publishers approached me to see if I'd be interested in developing a follow-up. My first thought was that it might be a bit easier this time, as it would be a simple matter of updating the first edition. So I decided to pursue the book project rather than the doctorate, as I felt the book could offer more for helping others. And they say don't undertake a doctorate just for the title. That would have been nice though, hey ho. But I quickly realised that this was not going to be a simple update. Quite the opposite actually. I found that in this era we needed new and expanded chapter topics, a wider set of experienced, respected academic practitioner contributors, and essentially a complete rewrite. I chose carefully those that I wanted to invite. One or two were unavailable, but the resulting team of contributors were absolutely fantastic. And like the first time, or the last time, It was a long and drawn out process of networking, liaison and discussion, planning, researching, drafting, proofreading, correcting and editing, toing and froing of material. And I also had the little matter of 9 chapters to either solo or co-author myself. No one knows what these things involve unless they've done them. I've always felt a massive weight of responsibility when publishing books. I want them to be really useful, factually correct, evidence-informed, and experiential, and not just repeating what other books show. It's really not easy. You have to be inspired and organized, persistent, fertile, meticulous. And once started, you just have to keep going, month after month, year after year, update after update, until it's finally done. It can sometimes feel like the equivalent of a never-ending uphill challenge, interspersed with short periods of satisfactory completion. So if you like the idea of post-it notes all over your office, books piled up either side of your keyboard, hundreds of research articles stored on innumerable folders, 20 different chapters on the go at all times, email trails all over the place, all over the world, little time for much else in your life, and persistent neck and back pain for a few years, I thoroughly recommend it. Well, it probably wasn't quite that bad, but I thought I'd like to take this opportunity to tell it a bit more like how it was for me. I think it would be the same for anyone taking on any huge self-imposed endeavour, whether that's a PhD journey or a solo trek across a continent. Okay, well, maybe that's over-egging it a bit. Hi, Keith Ward here. I'm sure that many of you will already know about this already, but either way, this is just a quick video to announce the publication of our brand new handbook of sport and exercise therapy. I've only just received my 4 edited copies. I'm pretty pleased with them. It's a pretty robust text. It's already been called a beast. And like most of the books I end up writing, they're pretty good for raises, pressing, curling. So, 4 years and 400,000 words later, in 2024, the Handbook of Sport and Exercise Therapy was published. This slide might resonate with some other academic authors. To be fair, there may be a very small royalty payment each year, but these books are certainly not written for the money. In 2024, my personal circumstances had changed. I'd now lost both my parents. I'd put everything into my work, and I now had a fresh opportunity to get back a much needed work-life balance, and I was looking forward to it. So I made the decision to leave the university and focus primarily on my home private practice and a more relaxed, continued personal development. My team gave me a great send-off, but I want to say that mine was just a bit part in the bigger picture. Even just at my institution, there were and are much better teachers than me. I was just someone who was privileged to be given a chance to make a contribution and a living. Being a teacher certainly sustained and accelerated my own learning, and I've been lucky that it's been in a field that's so fascinating, multifaceted and rewarding. Before I get to the final take-homes from this presentation, I want to say something more about Graham Smith, Professor Graham Smith passing. If you haven't seen Graham's obituary on the SST website, I encourage you to have a read of that. He was someone we all looked up to, but he would always have time for quite quiet, meaningful words. He was a true master of ceremony. That was clearly seen at the many conferences and university forums he fronted. He certainly supported me over the years, not least in accepting my invitation to write the forewords for both of my last 2 books. He said something amazing and pertinent in each of those pieces, and it meant a lot. I think it's important to acknowledge that he was the one who literally drove us into this professional landscape. So thank you and big respect to Graham.
Flowers in your garden, they grow. I don't know what we'll do with them. This is the time for leaving. Put your coat on, close the door, say goodbye to me. This is the time for leaving. It feels in my mind that if we'd taken the time, we could have made it good and even understood each other. But it's hard to deal when I know how you feel and it won't go right. And you're looking for something to live for.